Driverly.com, unlimited drama series.
3:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting in my kitchen like some insomniac detective, nursing my fourth cup of coffee and wondering when my life turned into a bad country song. The house creaks around me. Old bones settling, Jessica would say when she still bothered to explain away the night sounds. Now, she just rolls over and pretends to sleep through my restless wandering. Eddie Malloy, contractor extraordinaire, reduced to counting ceiling stains and cataloging the ways his marriage went sideways. The front door opens with that particular squeak I've been meaning to fix for 6 months. Jessica's heels click against the hardwood. Careful, measured steps trying not to wake the dead husband in the kitchen. Too late for that, sweetheart. Wasn't your work trip supposed to start at dawn? I call out, not turning around. She freezes in the doorway. I can feel her calculating, that HR brain spinning through damage control scenarios. Trip got canceled. Guess you missed the memo. Funny, your calendar still shows the conference in Portland. I take another sip of coffee. Must be a glitch in the system. Jessica moves to the counter, her movements too casual, too rehearsed. She's wearing the black dress, the one that cost more than my monthly truck payment, the one she claimed was just for special occasions. Can't a woman dress nicely for dinner with colleagues? At midnight? That's some dedicated team building. Her phone buzzes against the granite countertop. The screen lights up. Duke, miss you already. Can't wait to taste you again tomorrow. Time stops. The coffee cup hovers halfway to my lips as 23 years of marriage crystallize into this single moment of absolute clarity. All those little things I'd been cataloging, the new underwear, the sudden interest in CrossFit, the way she guards her phone like state secrets, they weren't paranoid delusions after all. Jessica lunges for the phone, but I'm faster, always was, despite what she thinks about my reflexes. Derek Duvall, I read aloud, and the Duke. How original. Eddie, it's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. I scroll through the messages, months of them. Detailed, explicit planning. Jesus, Jess, you documented everything. What kind of HR professional leaves a paper trail like this? Her face cycles through emotions. Guilt, defiance, calculation. She settles on attack mode. Classic Jessica. You went through my phone? That's a violation of my privacy. Your privacy? I laugh, and it sounds foreign in my own throat. Your privacy ended when you started broadcasting your affair to half of Maine. I keep scrolling, photos, voice messages, a whole digital scrapbook of betrayal, complete with timestamps and location data. Derek's lakeside rental, the Marriott downtown, even my own basement workshop. They used my workbench, the one I built with my own hands. How long? I ask. Eddie, how long, Jessica? 6 months. Another lie. The messages go back over a year. I screenshot everything, forwarding copies to my own phone before she can think to delete them. Derek's different, she says, switching tactics. He understands me. He appreciates what I've accomplished. Unlike your blue-collar husband who just pays for everything you've accomplished. That's not fair. Fair? I stand up and Jessica actually takes a step back. Good. She should be nervous. You want to talk about fair? Let's talk about fair. I walk to the kitchen window, looking out at our yard, the fence I built, the garden shed I constructed from scratch, the deck where we hosted barbecues for friends who probably knew about Derek before I did. You know what's not fair, Jess? Wasting 23 years on someone who thinks I'm not good enough. Someone who's been planning her exit strategy for over a year while I'm working 60-hour weeks to pay for her lifestyle. I never said you weren't good enough. You didn't have to say it. You've been showing me for years. I turn back to face her. The comments about my clothes, the way you introduce me at your work parties. This is my husband. He's in construction. Like you're apologizing for my existence. Jessica's mask slips. For a moment, I see something that might be regret. Then it's gone, replaced by the cold efficiency that makes her so good at her job. I want a divorce. I figured that out already. I hold up her phone. Derek's got it all planned out. The lawyer, the asset division, even which friends you get to keep. Very thorough, very professional. Eddie, we can do this civilly. Civilly? I laugh again. You mean quietly? You want me to disappear without making a fuss so you can play the victim. Poor Jessica. stuck with a husband who couldn't appreciate her. I walk past her toward the stairs, pausing at the doorway. Here's the thing about being underestimated, Jess. People forget you're paying attention. They forget you're smart enough to connect the dots. They forget that the quiet guy in the corner might just be planning something. What's that supposed to mean? I smile, and something in my expression makes her take another step back. It means your trip to Portland just got a lot more complicated. Morning comes too early and not early enough. Jessica left before dawn, probably to brief Derek on damage control. I call in sick to the job site, something I haven't done in 3 years. Barney Rodriguez, my right-hand man, and the closest thing I have to a best friend, shows up at my door by 8. You look like hell, Eddie. Feel worse. I pour him coffee and explain the situation. Barney listens without interruption, his weathered face growing darker with each detail. That cheating bitch, he finally says. Hey, what do you need? This is why I trust Barney. No judgment, no useless sympathy, just straight to business. We've worked together for 15 years, ever since he got out of prison for assault. Everyone else saw an ex-con with anger issues. I saw a man who understood loyalty and consequences. I need to know everything, every detail, every lie, every person who knew and didn't tell me. Consider it done. Barney has connections throughout town. Guys from the union, bartenders, mechanics, the invisible network of working-class men who see everything and remember more. Within 2 hours, he's back with intelligence that makes my stomach turn. It's worse than you thought, Eddie. We sit in my workshop, surrounded by the tools of my trade. The workbench where Jessica and Derek conducted their business is right behind Barney. I wonder if he can sense the violation in the air. Derek Duvall, 42, divorced twice. Works as a business consultant, which means he lives off his military pension and whatever he can charm out of lonely housewives. Been bragging at Murphy's bar about his conquest. That's your wife, by the way. Says she's going to leave you high and dry. What else? Chloe Martinez knew from the beginning. Been covering for Jessica, providing alibis, the whole 9 yards. That friend of yours, Tom Patterson? His wife Sarah found out last month. They had a big fight about whether to tell you. Tom Patterson, my supposed best friend since high school. We've worked jobs together, shared beers, celebrated each other's kids' birthdays. He knew my wife was cheating and said nothing. There's more, Barney continues. Derek's been casing your house, knows your schedule, knows when you're on job sites. He's been here, Eddie, multiple times. The violation cuts deeper than the affair itself. This isn't just betrayal, it's invasion. They turned my home into their playground while I was out earning the money that paid for their entertainment. And what about Jessica's work? That's the interesting part. Talked to my cousin Maria. She cleans the office building downtown. Says Jessica's been having meetings with Derek in her office after hours, using company resources for personal business. That's against their code of conduct. An idea begins forming. Jessica built her career on rules, policies, proper procedures. She's meticulous about other people's violations while conducting her own under everyone's noses. The irony is almost poetic. I need copies of everything. Phone records, credit card statements, her work calendar. Can you handle the technical stuff? Barney grins. You forget who you're talking to. I cracked safes before I cracked skulls. While Barney works his magic, I pay a visit to Mrs. Keene, our 78-year-old neighbor, who knows everyone's business before they do. She's watering her garden when I approach, but her eyes light up with the anticipation of someone who's been waiting to share gossip. Eddie, how are you, dear? Been better, Mrs. Keene. I wanted to ask you... about the black pickup truck that's been in my driveway. Her face transforms with the joy of confirmed suspicions. Oh, that handsome man. I wondered when you'd notice. He's been visiting Jessica quite regularly when you're at work. Very friendly, if you know what I mean. How regularly? 3, sometimes 4 times a week. Always parks right in your spot, bold as brass. I thought it was strange, a man visiting a married woman like that. But young people have different customs nowadays. Mrs. Keene provides dates, times, even descriptions of Derek's behavior. She's been inadvertently conducting surveillance for months, cataloging every violation of my marriage with the dedication of a private investigator. By afternoon, I have a complete picture. Jessica and Derek have been using my house, my bed, my workshop for over a year. They've involved our mutual friends in their deception. They've made me a laughingstock, while I work to support the lifestyle that enabled their affair. But the worst discovery comes when Barney cracks Jessica's work email. You need to see this, Eddie. He shows me a forwarded message chain between Jessica and her office friend Allison. The subject line reads, "Exit strategy." Eddie's so predictable, Jessica wrote. He'll cry and beg and try to win me back. Men like him always do. Derek says I should take him for everything. The house, his retirement, his tools. Why should I settle for half when I can get it all? How? Allison replied. Abuse allegations. Derek knows how to make it look real. A few bruises, some photos, a restraining order. Eddie will be so shocked he won't know how to respond. By the time he lawyers up, I'll have cleaned out the accounts. The blood drains from my face. This isn't just adultery, it's conspiracy. They're planning to frame me for domestic violence to steal everything I've worked for. Those sick fucks, Barney mutters. They're going to destroy you for money. But instead of rage, I feel something colder. Clarity, purpose. Jessica thinks she knows me, thinks I'm predictable. She's about to learn the difference between predictable and patient. Not if I destroy them first. The 4th of July parade is a big deal in our town. One of those Norman Rockwell traditions that brings everyone together for a few hours of small-town patriotism. This year, it's going to be memorable for all the wrong reasons. I volunteer my crew to help with the floats, something I've done for years. Jessica doesn't know about my involvement. She's too busy planning her public debut with Derek. According to her social media posts, they're attending together, with friends and, of course, maintaining the pretense of casual acquaintance. Barney and I arrive early to set up. The parade route runs right through downtown, past Murphy's Bar, the bank, and the hardware store, where half the town does business. Perfect visibility for what I've planned. You sure about this, Eddie? Barney asks as we position the equipment. Once you pull this trigger, there's no going back. They crossed that line when they decided to frame me for abuse. At 10:30, Jessica arrives with Chloe and Derek. She looks beautiful, the kind of effortless elegance that first attracted me 25 years ago. Derek is everything I'm not. Tall, muscular, confident in the way that comes from never having to prove yourself through work. He wears his arrogance like expensive cologne. They find a spot near the reviewing stand, close enough to be seen by the mayor and town council. Jessica waves at people she knows, playing the role of respected community member. No one suspects they're watching a woman who's been planning to destroy her husband's life. The parade begins with the high school marching band, followed by vintage cars and local business floats. Derek makes a show of putting his arms around Jessica's waist. She doesn't pull away. That's when Tom Patterson approaches me. Eddie, we need to talk. My former best friend looks uncomfortable, guilty. He knows I know, and he's finally ready to address the elephant that's been sitting between us for months. About what, Tom? You know what. Sarah's been eating herself alive over this. We wanted to tell you, but what? You decided it wasn't your business? It's complicated, man. Jessica made us promise. Jessica made you promise. I nod slowly. My wife asked my best friend to keep her affair secret, and you agreed. That about sum it up? Tom's face flushes red. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Tom? Explain to me how watching my wife cheat for over a year was the right thing to do. Our voices are rising. People nearby start to notice, including Jessica and Derek. They're watching us with the fascination of spectators at a car accident. I didn't want to hurt you, Tom says weakly. You didn't want to get involved. There's a difference. Derek chooses this moment to insert himself into our conversation. He strolls over with the casual confidence of a man who thinks he's already won. Problem here, gentlemen, The condescension in his voice is like gasoline on a fire. This is the man who's been violating my home, planning to frame me for crimes I didn't commit. And now he's playing peacekeeper in front of half the town. No problem, I say calmly. Just catching up with an old friend. Eddie Malloy, right? Derek extends his hand. Derek Duvall. I've heard a lot about you. I stare at his hand without taking it. I bet you have. The smile falters slightly. Derek isn't used to people who don't respond to his charm. Jessica speaks very highly of you. Says you're a hard worker. Among other things, I'm sure. Now Derek's getting irritated. He's used to intimidating men like me, blue-collar guys who are supposed to be impressed by his muscles and military bearing. But I've spent 25 years dealing with difficult people.
It was one time at the company retreat.
Your coworker posted a photo. You're wearing this shirt.
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
And I know how to stay calm under pressure. Look, Eddie, I think we should clear the air. About what? About the fact that your marriage is over. And you need to accept that like a man. The crowd around us grows quiet. Jessica looks mortified, but she doesn't intervene. She's going to let Derek handle her dirty work while she maintains plausible deniability. Except what exactly? That Jessica deserves better than what she's been getting? She needs a real man, not some... Derek gestures dismissively at my work clothes, handyman who can't provide for his wife properly. The insult hits its mark, but not the way Derek expects. Instead of anger, I feel a cold satisfaction. He's just given me everything I need. A real man, I repeat. Someone like you? That's right. Someone who sleeps with married women? Derek's face darkens. Watch your mouth. Someone who uses other men's homes for his entertainment? Eddie, stop, Jessica finally speaks, but it's too late. Someone who plans to frame innocent people for domestic violence? Derek goes very still. What did you say? I pull out my phone and open the email chain between Jessica and Allison. In a voice loud enough for everyone to hear, I read Jessica's words about taking me for everything, about making abuse allegations, about Derek helping to make it look real. The crowd erupts, gasps, angry murmurs, people pulling out their own phones to record. Jessica's face goes white as paper. Derek looks like he wants to hit me, which would be perfect for my purposes. You son of a bitch, Derek snarls. You hacked her email. I read what my wife wrote about destroying my life. Seems relevant to the conversation. Derek steps closer, his hands clenched into fists. You want to do this here? In front of everyone? I'm not doing anything, Derek. I'm just standing here talking. That's when Derek makes his fatal mistake. With half the town watching and multiple phones recording, he hauls back and slaps me across the face. The sound echoes like a gunshot. For a moment, nobody moves. Then Derek realizes what he's done. Assaulted a man in front of dozens of witnesses, while being accused of planning to frame that same man for violence. Oh shit, someone in the crowd mutters. I touch my cheek, feeling the sting. Well, that was educational. Derek tries to salvage the situation. He provoked me. You all heard what he said. But the crowd isn't buying it. They heard what Jessica wrote about framing me, and now they've seen Derek's real character. The narrative has flipped completely. Eddie, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Patterson says, pushing through the crowd. We should have told you months ago. Other voices join in. Always knew there was something off about that guy. Poor Eddie working his ass off while she's running around. Disgraceful behavior? Jessica tries to leave, but people block her path, demanding explanations. Derek attempts to follow, but he's surrounded by hostile faces. My union brothers have materialized from the crowd, forming a protective circle around me. You okay, Eddie? Barney asks. Never better. And I mean it. For the first time in months, I feel like myself again. The truth is out. The town knows what Jessica and Derek really are, and I'm no longer fighting this battle alone. Derek finally breaks free and storms off toward his truck, Jessica hurrying behind him. But the damage is done. By evening, the video of Derek slapping me will be all over social media. By tomorrow, everyone in town will know the real story. As I watch them retreat, I smile. This is just the beginning. The video goes viral locally within hours. Local man exposes cheating wife's plot becomes the most shared post in our town's Facebook groups. Derek slapping me gets replayed hundreds of times, each viewing adding to the public outrage. By Monday morning, Jessica's office has seen the footage. Her boss, Margaret Chen, calls an emergency meeting. I know this because Allison, suddenly eager to distance herself from the scandal, texts me the details. Jessica's suspended pending investigation, she writes. The company can't have employees planning to file false abuse claims. It's a liability nightmare. Derek fares worse. His military pension review board receives anonymous tips about his pattern of targeting married women. His consulting contracts dry up as clients distance themselves from the controversy. The lakeside rental owner evicts him after other tenants complain about the negative attention. But instead of retreating, they double down. Wednesday night, I'm working late at a construction site when Derek shows up. He's been drinking. I can smell it from 20 feet away. His face is haggard, his confident swagger replaced by desperate anger. You destroyed my life, you bastard. I don't look up from the foundation I'm measuring. You destroyed your own life. I just provided the documentation. You had no right to read Jessica's private emails. Jessica had no right to plan false abuse allegations. Seems like we're even. Derek kicks at a pile of lumber, sending 2x4s scattering. You think you're so smart, don't you? The clever little contractor who outsmarted everyone. I think I'm a man who got tired of being lied to. Well, here's some truth for you. Jessica never loved you. Not really. She settled for you because she was young and stupid, but she's been regretting it for years. You were never good enough for her. The words sting because part of me has always suspected they might be true. But I've had time to process this, to move past the self-doubt and into something harder. Maybe not, I admit. But I was good enough to pay for her lifestyle while she figured that out. I was good enough to work 60-hour weeks so she could afford the clothes and cars and vacations that impressed you. And I was definitely good enough to catch both of you in your own trap. Derek's face twists with rage. You sanctimonious prick. You act like you're some innocent victim, but you're just as petty and vindictive as anyone else. You're absolutely right. The difference is, I'm petty and vindictive toward people who deserve it. He lunges at me then, throwing a wild punch that I easily dodge. Construction work keeps you in decent shape, and I've been in enough job site scuffles to know how to handle myself. Derek is bigger, but he's drunk and emotional. Two serious disadvantages in a fight. I don't hit him back. Instead, I pull out my phone and start recording. Go ahead, Derek. Show everyone what a real man looks like when he doesn't get his way. The camera stops him cold. He's already facing assault charges from the parade incident. Another attack, especially one caught on video, would mean jail time. You coward, Ite, he spits. Hide behind that phone like you hid behind Jessica's emails. I'm not hiding behind anything. I'm documenting your behavior for legal purposes. You know, the way smart people protect themselves from unstable individuals. Derek realizes he's been outmaneuvered again. His shoulders sag as the fight goes out of him. This isn't over, Eddie. Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet. After he leaves, I call Barney and fill him in. Within an hour, 3 of my union brothers show up at the site to make sure Derek doesn't come back. Word spreads quickly through our network. Derek Duval is persona non grata in our part of town. The next morning brings a new development. Tom Patterson calls, his voice strained with guilt and something else, fear. Eddie, we need to talk. In person. We meet at Murphy's bar, neutral ground where half the town can witness our conversation. Tom looks like he hasn't slept in days. Sarah's leaving me, he says without preamble. I'm sorry to hear that. No, you're not. You think I deserve it. I consider lying, then decide Tom has had enough lies. Yeah, I do. She says I'm a coward. Says any real friend would have told you about Jessica immediately. Consequences be damned. Sarah's a smart woman. Tom's face crumples. I was trying to protect everyone. I thought maybe Jessica would come to her senses, end it quietly, and nobody would get hurt. Instead, you enabled her to plan my destruction while I worked to support her affair. I never knew about the abuse allegations, but you knew about the affair. You knew Derek was in my house, using my bed, laughing at me behind my back, and you said nothing. Tom stares into his beer. I was scared, okay? Scared of getting involved, scared of taking sides, scared of losing friends. I thought I could stay neutral. There is no neutral when someone's destroying your friend's life. There's right and there's wrong, and there's cowardice. So what now? We just end 20 years of friendship? I finish my beer and stand up. We ended it the first time you chose Jessica's secret over my trust. This is just me acknowledging reality. As I walk away, Tom calls after me. I'm sorry, Eddie. I'm really, truly sorry. I don't turn around. So am I, Tom. So am I. 2 weeks after the parade incident, Jessica makes her last desperate play. She shows up at my house on a Saturday morning, looking vulnerable and contrite, the performance of a woman who's finally realized the depth of her mistake. Eddie, can we talk? Please? I let her in, but I'm recording everything on my phone. Trust, once broken, doesn't get a second chance to destroy you. I've been thinking about what happened, she begins, settling into the living room chair she used to claim as hers. About us, about what we had. What we had was a marriage. What you chose was Derek Duvall, and a plan to frame me for domestic violence. That was never serious. I was angry, hurt, not thinking clearly. You documented it in writing, Jessica. Multiple times over several weeks. That's not a moment of anger. That's premeditation. She tries a different approach, leaning forward with tears in her eyes. I made terrible mistakes. I know that. But we can fix this, Eddie. We can go to counseling, work through our problems. Our problems? I laugh. And the sound is harsh, even to my own ears. What problems were those? The problem where I worked too much to support your lifestyle? The problem where I wasn't exciting enough for your taste? Or the problem where I failed to appreciate being cheated on and conspired against? I never meant for things to go so far. You meant every bit of it. The only thing you didn't mean was getting caught. Jessica's mask begins to slip. The tears dry up, replaced by calculation. Fine. You want to be vindictive? Let's talk about vindictive. You humiliated me in front of the entire town. You destroyed my career, my reputation, my relationship. I exposed your behavior. There's a difference. You violated my privacy, hacked my email, turned people against me. I shared your own words, Jessica. If they turned people against you, maybe the problem isn't with me. She stands up, pacing to the window. Derek's gone, you know. Couldn't handle the pressure, the judgment. He left town yesterday. Good riddance. He was right about you. You're vindictive and small and smart enough to catch you in your own trap. Jessica whirls around, and for a moment I see the real woman beneath the performance. Angry, entitled, completely unrepentant. You think you've won? You think destroying my life makes you the hero of this story? I think protecting myself from false accusations makes me a survivor. Well, here's something to survive. I'm taking you for everything in the divorce. The house, your precious workshop, your retirement, your tools, all of it. With what grounds? Adultery isn't exactly a winning strategy in divorce court. I'll find grounds. Emotional abuse, financial control, alienation of affection, all easily disproven by your own emails, planning to fabricate abuse allegations. Jessica's face goes white as she realizes the trap she's walked into. By threatening me now, while being recorded, she's confirming the premeditation behind her original plan. You're recording this, she whispers. I'm protecting myself from an unstable individual who's already threatened to file false abuse claims. Seems reasonable. She lunges for my phone, but I'm ready for her. As she grabs for it, I step back, letting her momentum carry her forward. She stumbles, catches herself on the coffee table, and immediately I see the wheels turning. Perfect, she says, and deliberately scrapes her arm against the table's rough edge, drawing blood. Now, we have evidence of assault. But I'm still recording, and the video clearly shows her injuring herself. Evidence of what exactly? You harming yourself while trying to steal my phone? Jessica realizes her mistake. In her desperation to create evidence against me, she's provided evidence of her willingness to fabricate abuse allegations. Exactly what I accused her of planning. You bastard, she hisses. You manipulated me into showing your true character? I didn't manipulate anything. I just gave you enough rope. The fight goes out of her then. She sinks back into the chair, looking older than her 36 years. What do you want, Eddie? I want you gone. Out of my house, out of my life, out of my town if possible. I want a clean divorce, with no false allegations, no character assassination, no attempts to steal what I've worked for. And if I don't agree, I hold up my phone, which has been recording our entire conversation. Then this video, along with your emails and Derek's assault at the parade, gets submitted to the district attorney's office. Conspiracy to file false police reports is a felony, Jessica. So is attempted fraud. She stares at me for a long moment, perhaps finally understanding that the quiet, predictable husband she married is capable of more than she ever imagined. I underestimated you, she admits. Everyone did. That was your mistake. Jessica stands and walks to the door, then turns back one final time. You know this makes you just like us, right? Manipulative, calculating, ruthless. No, Jessica, it makes me like me. You just never bothered to find out who that was. After she leaves, I sit in my living room for a long time, processing.